Hello, friends of Komodo platform, friends of Pirate Chain, friends of Bitcoin, friends of crypto price charts. Hello, I'm Giuliano. It's the 15th of November. I'd like to share some crypto price charts with you. Start with the big dog, the BTC. Yeah. Well, I'm going to share the screen first and foremost so that we can look together at some price charts. Thanks for being here. Welcome, welcome. Where are we going? To the Bitcoin, below the 64,000 yet again. So, yeah, it looks like we are following what was expected. You know, so it's a Monday, by the way, Monday, and that means we had weekly candle closings. So here's the weekly candle close. It did reach above the $65,000 line. The close was about 65,400, which is even above the wick of 12th of April weekly candle. So what does this mean? Well, we might be getting a bit of our correction that we expected. I don't know if it'll last more than this week, but maybe it'll last two. Like on the weekly candles, maybe we're gonna just show a couple of weeks of sideways before further movement up. Well, on this chart, it looks like we would be playing something to this effect. And, you know, I don't know where this would lead based on what's happening here. Like at this point, maybe we are going to go to the 58,000 level before we move higher, but maybe it doesn't quite have to be so small. If we take it to the 4 hours, it might give us more clarity. And indeed, it looks like it does. So on that sense, yeah, something along these lines. Going here. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Like we'd be going pretty low at this point. If we're gonna have to extend on these moves here. I mean, let's see if we can go. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense unless we look at, you know, at the end of the day here, we could even see these 56,000 levels, you know, 57,000 levels if it had to. If it had to really give us a big crash before moving higher, that could be in the cards. But at the end of this, you know what, ultimately, I guess the 58 still is in play, even the 60. But at this point, if it is an impulsive move down, a 5-wave impulsive move down, then it looks like it'll have to go lower. If not, if it's going to be created in another format, then it might be easier to hold the 60,000 level. Either that, or we're still working on. Here's the upside potential is a higher high right here than the previous high here, okay? Or even you can call these highs, but it's higher than all of these, okay? And currently a higher low than these lows. However, we are working on, we're working on finding support. Otherwise, it gets dumped further, and then we start challenging these lows. Yeah, that's it. Like this has to this is how I could see that we do end up going until about the 21st or the 26th time frame to this type of time frame where the price has to find its way. Sorry. So like right now we would probably have to dump further. We would come back up, and then we would final dump, and then we'd be off. Like I can see that happening, but I just don't know the ratios if it works, you know, Fibonacci wise. So that's why not so clear. I guess it could work like this. You get some sort of 786 of the one, and then on the 5th, it would be, you know, here like a, not even a 786, so it'd be less. Or comparing to the 3, let's imagine something along these lines. They would be, yeah, you know, 61 or 78.6 of the 3. I could feel that. I could see how that might be the play, although that's not, doesn't look super impulsive. It looks more like a channeled correction, but whatever. That is what it is. That's, but the reason I'm looking at that is because over here we had a higher high than this high, and here we have this low from the previous high to the low. Now we have a higher high, I'm guessing maybe a higher low. Maintains this whole correction, the entire thing, as a bullish move for Bitcoin on its way up. So that's a possibility here. That's just what I'm looking at, what I was thinking through just now. I haven't really looked at this all day. I hope you're doing well, you know, getting outside, getting that vitamin D in any format you can. Not that this is any financial or health advice, you know, but moving your body around is good for you, I should say. And yeah, just keeping your mind clear, enjoying life. And that way you can enjoy the price charts as well. Okay, so that's a 4-hour on the BTC. I think we're going to stop there, and we're going to move on to our next chart because we have a few to go through. We're going to look at Komodo right now, KMD BTC. Looking at KMD BTC, we've got a weekly price chart. Let us remove all drawing tools and take a look. We had another red candle down week, closing around the 1512 Satoshi's level, breaking the previous closing levels of weekly candles, and yeah, not breaking the end of the year, end of 2020, December 28th weekly candle. So that's closed lower, at least for now. So here we are, looking to find some sort of reversal zone. I guess there's room to go, and I could even see it in certain instances, especially when we look on a monthly level. I could see this being the last candle for this 3 move down, but maybe it even ends up going further lower. I could also see another red one, or maybe an intermediate here, maybe some wicks down. There could be action in this month, the rest of this month into December, where the Komodo price even falls down into the 1300 Satoshis toward the 12s. Like, I don't know, but basically we're already closing at lower lows. If this is a November close, okay, currently this is the November candle, so we're not closed yet. Anything can happen. We could close higher than the previous candle. This is true. We could close a green candle, but based on this line of action here, we've got a low, a lower low, and then an even lower low. So it makes sense, and that's fine. That can terminate the full move on the monthly levels, possibly. We'll see what it looks like in a year's time, in 2 years' time. Okay. For now, though, that's the KMD price chart on the monthly and the weekly. Okay. And then we go to the daily. And on the daily, again, it's just a lot of flat, non-excitement. And that's okay if you are fine with that. Not much else to say. We looked at it long term. We'll bring these back in and say that there was, you know, what looked to be daily divergence building. We were pushing up against the downtrending white line from here, and yesterday got rejected quite hard off of it. The previous 2 days wicked into it. Let me see what's happening there. So rejection off of it, and here we are still fighting in it, lower end of the Bollinger Band. Yeah, so it looks like if we can bottom here and hold this and start moving higher, well, a few things happen. One is we break out of this downtrending resistance, and then we move towards this uptrending, what is now resistance. We break out of it. We also hit this kind of double bottom with a higher bottom than previously, and we get to move up. And then also we start to reach towards the 20-day moving average to challenge that. And that is around this level here. So if we can do that, we get above there, which is around 1700 Satoshis if we can get to this line here, okay? But at least the 16 level here. So that's that. Otherwise, we reject off of here and we continue further down into the 1400 Satoshis. All right, that's KMD price chart for you. Whoops, we're all over the place. Fun times. Okay, next, let's go over to Pirate Chain price chart. Oh, wait, I want to see some 4-hour action. Let's see. Not convinced. Yeah, we're doing mini charts here. We're getting rejected. It looks on a 4-hour and by the 20 period average. Let's see. It's going to have to break above there, and then we get the test of the cloud. Yeah. Okay, that's through a small window. Next, Pirate Chain. Pirates, we're back at the 3,000 Satoshi levels, 3,200s to be exact. Wow, what a move. Well, as you know, Pirate Chain price charts have big green candles sometimes. They also have big red candles. But yes, the big green candles do come into play. And this is today's daily candle. Let's start with the weekly price chart, as our theme is a Monday video. Let's go big and just take a bit of an overview. Okay. Wow, it's starting to really shape out here. We have to come back down to see the full action. This rounding is still in play. This rounding is still in play. It was, you know, talking bearish sentiments here about potentially breaking below this Bollinger Band down towards this uptrending trend line from the February to March, end of March lows here. Yeah, so far so good, at least this week. This week is looking more bullish, but previous week was a red candle closing, a lower low than all the previous lows. But that's it in the 2,800 Satoshi levels, previously 29. So now we have bumped right back up to the 32s, but again, is it going to be like this green one where we have a big wick and then we end up maybe even closing red, if not just a small green here, you know, even in the 2,900 again levels. So we'll see, but at least it's promising, at least it's something. And if we look on the daily price chart, it does span the entire Bollinger Band. The important thing will be staying above the daily 20-day moving average, because we are narrowing in these Bollinger Bands. Boom. Okay, we have this opportunity here, and if we can stay above the 20-day moving average, then it gives the opportunity then to pierce the Bollinger Bands to the upside. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Oops, that's what we're looking for on the Pirate Chain price chart on the daily level. However, we are still lower lows, okay, and it is 3 green candles in a row. So we might have a bit of red to come retest this 3,000 Satoshis level. I'll be very surprised if we don't. Maybe we go up first and then come back down, but we're gonna have to test this 3,000 as a hold for sure. That makes the most sense out of everything. All right. Interestingly, we spanned the entire Bollinger Band. The low today was at the 2,600 Satoshis level, which when we look here, I mean, I don't know, is it exactly the same? Is it even lower? Looks like it's a bit lower, but again, I mean, what is the exactitude of this? I'm gonna say technically, maybe they're not the same, but effectively, they're so close to being the same here that looks like significant wick activity here related to each other. So anyway, that's your Pirate Chain price chart on the daily. And then if we look 4 hours, well, it would be nice to hold above this cloud. However, oh yeah, and that would also mean holding above this 200 period moving average. Yeah, that's great. That would be good. Let's see if it can. It already rejected with some wick, so provided support. So let's see if it can continue that and hold it. So there you go. If you were watching this channel, I didn't watch it on the 4 hourly too closely over the last few days, but before that, it was fighting that channel. Eventually got out. Once we got out, Bollinger Bands, they narrowed, popped above the Bollinger Bands, tested it. Wow, look at this wick all the way down. That's the big wick. Like it just, it's crazy. I can only imagine on bigger exchanges and bigger volume what kind of havoc this could play. But anyway, yeah, it just closed above their 4 hour candle and boom, off to the races with these two big ones after that. So consolidation, at least for a couple here. Now, the big question is going to be, does it reach higher than those closing levels? In which case, then we're flirting inside this box, and that's good times. We would ideally like to get up to this box here before finding some sort of support lower if need be, but there you have it. Oops. Yeah, that's Pirate Chain price chart, 4 hour price level, and I think we are good with that. So here you have it. The theme basically is this rounded bottom is still in play. Rounded bottom is still in play. All right. We will soon be met with the 200-day moving average, the Ichimoku cloud, this downtrending resistance. It's coming. We're getting there. Okay. End of the year into the beginning of next year. All right. That's good times. So stick around for that. And I look forward to seeing you. We're going to continue, though. We have a few more charts to take a look at. We'll look at some crypto price charts here. ADA back in the 3,100 Satoshi levels here. ICX moved nicely. And we're going to take a look here at some previous lines we've drawn here. Okay, so it's been a lot of green. This is the months, a lot of green months in a row. It's very powerful. On the weekly candles, nice weekly candle close. Not quite like a bullish engulfing, but a strong weekly candle. And now trying to reach higher than the previous candles. It's fighting with this line here and has gotten above it. It's fighting with this purple line here. Let's make it a different color. It's fighting with that line there. And actually, let's make that a different color too. Okay. So it's getting above there. So I think there's a good chance it'll hold. Maybe it'll get rejected here, but these are important price levels, and it matches with these price levels. So which were previously quite resistancy. Yeah. So ICX looking strong though, and this is in the BTC price chart, not USD. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign for the ICX price. It looked like it might get rejected at this line in the last day or two. But look at all these daily candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, green daily candles upside. So maybe it will get rejected here and find some lows, or maybe it'll just go a bit sideways down in red before moving higher. We'll see. Maybe this is the local top, and we're going to have some down moves before we go into 2022. You know, if Bitcoin's going to start running towards end of November, end of the year, then I imagine these will at least go sideways, if not down against Bitcoin. Unless, but when I say these, I mean altcoin to Bitcoin charts. Unless it's something, you know, like Origin Trail moved really hard, really fast because of certain market forces, the psychology of the market brought it there, regardless of what everything else was doing. And so same thing might happen to ICX, but I get the sense that there is room for a downside here as well. So this is a key pivotal area. Yeah, but it could still even go higher and then fall lower. We'll see. This is daily price chart, and December starts right here on the vertical. So we're near towards it. Still have many candles to go. It could go choppy sideways and then keep going higher. We'll see. Just keep an eye on it. Either way, it's in the accumulation box still. It's in the accumulation box at a fair price of the accumulation box where it spent a lot of time. This is the best price of the accumulation box down here, but you're pretty decent around here and around here. It's pretty good. So that's your ICX if you're interested against BTC. Still need to break this downtrending resistance though. Otherwise, could keep going lower, and that's a real thing. I mean, you could keep making lower lows, but I don't think that's the trajectory. But anyway, all right, anything is possible, and none of this financial advice. So that's your ICX price chart on the daily. Let's move on to Origin Trail. Okay, starting to fall below, going below the $2 level, starting to fall into this. So I was wondering if we were going to, kind of pull a rounding here and then figure out what's next, maybe pop up, find support again, and then keep going. But maybe it's just going to pause and then find further downside before finding its way. That might be a thing. So keep an eye out here, Origin Trail, some good levels to get. Obviously, this being a good support level, but right now it's at a point where there's a good likelihood that it'll fall below it. So better to see this confirm as support and grab some in that case, rather than grabbing it here only for it to continue further down. Oops. So that's the idea there. So in that case, this is a daily price chart. Let's look at the weekly candles just to show. This is a pause candle. And I get the sense. Now, if this pause candle was first after this, then it might keep going up. But I think that because this pause candle comes after this, then we might be continuing going down. Now, this is this week's candle, so this is by no means closed or even close to being closed, okay? And this big candle here means that maybe we've started a new trend here, and especially when we go on lower time frames, it looks like we have, obviously. So, now we're starting to slow down here. So that means that some good levels on a weekly time frame are good to look at. Oh, snap. Okay, we're gonna have to do this again. Friends, sorry about that. Yeah, so I hope you're enjoying this. I'm just gonna do a quick login over here. It got booted, but if you haven't liked the video yet, just go ahead and like it. It's not so easy having to log in to getaurox terminal here at the same time as talking. So, but I don't want it to be silent the entire time, because maybe you want something to listen to. Maybe you're listening in 1.5x speed or 1.75x speed, so that didn't take as long for you as it might have for others. But it's time for me to share the screen again. And so here we go. Uh-oh, we've made it into a KMD price chart. Well, let's get out of here and go into the Origin Trail price chart again. Okay, so, oh wow, things got moved around. Okay, it doesn't matter. All right, so yeah, anyway, basically we were looking at some weekly levels. Oh, look at some weekly levels. Boom, weekly price chart. Just gonna refresh this so that we get the cursor moving around, and then we're ready to go. Part 2, round 2. Whew. And then I think that's it. We're gonna look at a few of these, just get some levels, get some ideas, because you know what, it can go up or it can go down, right? Or it can go sideways, up and down, meaning you never know. But if you take a look at some levels, so these current levels are good, but I think better is when we start to reach around here, which is around like the 2000 level. Now, I don't know if it's going to get there on a daily. It might stop us around the 23 or 2500 level here. So the point is that maybe even 2,700 here is going to be the low, but I don't think so. Based on this sharp move up, I think there's room to correct here, especially considering we might be going for a while. So yeah, in that sense here, weekly, wait, are we daily? Daily might be going for a while. The weekly might not be as long. So what I'm trying to say here is, on the daily, we're looking at this level right here, which is, yeah, like 23 to 25, and then maybe 27 if you're really, trying to be conservative about it in terms of you don't think it's going to go much lower. Now, the more bullish thing, the most bullish thing would be making this higher low here, okay? Making that higher low there compared to this low here. If that could happen, then we are really staying bullish on track for the short term. Otherwise, if it's going to make a lower low than this, then it's going to take longer to correct out of this. Does that make sense? Okay, so watch it on the daily. From here, I think we are going to look at, yeah, because like this could even be, maybe not though. Yeah, I'm not convinced. Okay, we'll find out. Let's just keep watching. We're going to keep watching the origin trail price chart. We've broken the 3,000 levels. I don't know if it's gonna go back above sustainably. Okay, now, and especially if Bitcoin's going to keep going down a bit, then everything's going to be having a bit more of a downtrending bias. Although, speaking of strong DERO BTC price chart, wow, it's still making lower highs. However, the lower highs here are only lower than these highs. They are higher than these highs. So what an impressive move. It came up here, made these lower highs, rejected at that 20 period average level, come back down. Okay, supported Bollinger Band, rejected 20 period average, lower highs, but then higher lows. Nice. And moving up to make higher highs than the previous highs. But now rejecting at the top of this Bollinger Band, top of this channel we had here, and then making now lower highs here on the daily price chart, and wicks rejecting at top of the Bollinger Band. That tells me we're most likely going to continue back down. Now, the beauty is maybe you make higher lows than this. Maybe you make higher lows. That's amazing. That's incredible. But if not, well, then that means these targets over here in orange are still in play. But for now, I'm glad I kept this channel going, even though it started breaking out of it down to the downside, because this channel is still in play and it's showing some relative usefulness here in terms of tracking the price. So that's DERO price chart. Quite a strong move here since the beginning of November. So nice work there, DERO price chart since the beginning of November against BTC is up roughly 45 to 50%. That's pretty solid. Now, currently though, yeah, fine, maybe not. Maybe now it's only 30%, but nobody's complaining about that one, maybe. I don't know. Maybe some people are complaining. There's always complainers, aren't there? Okay, that's it for the DERO price chart, making lower highs than this. Therefore, there's still a chance that we're ready to dump further down towards the 20,000 Satoshi level, and at worst, maybe even 15,000 Satoshi level. Okay, and that would be an interesting looking price chart though, that's for sure. DERO BTC, strong one of the bunch for sure. The Shiba, oh wait, we didn't look at the weekly. Let's look at the weekly on DERO, and then we can stroll through Shiba. Weekly on DERO is, yeah, it's kind of toppy. Like on a weekly, we've basically just done this, down, up, and now we can keep going down. That's just what it looks like and feels like in that sense, So nothing really is certain yet because we only have the high and we have the low. Now we might be making a lower high, but we still get an opportunity to make a higher low. So we'll see. We'll see. But that was also discussed on the daily. Okay, that's your DERO price chart against BTC. Now we can, since I already opened it, look at some SHIB against USDT. Oh, interesting. We're reaching up against that downtrending resistance. If it goes above it to the upside here, that's a good sign for the USDT price of SHIB. Yeah, then we'll see where it goes from there. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. For now, nothing is clear, but other than the fact that it's very close to breaking this downtrending resistance. Okay, good job, SHIB. Although, you know, none of this financial advice in any way. Litecoin is the one that is taking some steam ahead against Bitcoin, but again, it's meeting this monthly time frame, long-term resistance. So I get the sense, you know, it'll have a bit more of a pump, but maybe not much more for now, and that's okay. But again, on a monthly time frame, it's coming towards this downtrending resistance. That could be a game changer for Litecoin and the rest of the altcoins. This is a long-term downtrending resistance. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see though, because time is part of a chart. And when time comes into play, the price could be so far down, but because it's a downtrending resistance and enough time is allowed to happen, they'll eventually meet each other unless the price keeps tanking, but it can only go so far before it gets to negative. So then the next question becomes, you know, does it become something like this for the rest of its life? Possible. Otherwise, then it would have to become something like this, like maybe whatever. Like this is only, here's the thing, this is only till another 10 years, okay? And beyond that, beyond 10 years, I mean, here's 2055 right here, 2054, 2050, okay? So if somebody in 2035 or 2040, 2045 or 2050 is looking at this chart, what would it have looked like, a Litecoin chart on a monthly time frame, right? So that could be quite an interesting phenomenon here. I don't know what these things will look like, but do they go flat forever, or do their networks just end? I don't think so. I think it's more like something, you know, like this, sorry for the scribbles, but maybe it's a perpetual, you know, sideways. Maybe it's sideways for 20 years, you know, whatever it does, okay? And then maybe one day these things break out to the upside, because I don't know, who knows what the market circumstances will be. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't take this long to do all this. Maybe this gets compressed into, you know, this kind of time frame, into like 2030. Okay, so who knows? But it's interesting to watch, and hopefully I can stick around with you and we can watch it together. So if you are watching this now, thanks for being here. I hope you're enjoying it. Let's take a look at the weekly candle close for LTC. What a weekly candle. Good, strong weekly candle up to these previous price levels here, support and just choppiness here. So now finding some resistance there, but yeah, coming close to that downtrending resistance. I get the sense that next year is going to be a good year for alts against Bitcoin. That's just my sense of it. We're going to definitely have at least one more alt season. Feels like it. Okay. That's the weekly on Litecoin. I think we're good there. We did a bit of LTC long-term analysis just now. Very long-term analysis. Woo. BNB is up above the 0.01, the 1 million Satoshis level. Let's see. All right, and we'll do a bit more TA on BNB since it's such a big player. Oh, this is a 30-minute price chart. Let's take weekly and say, well, last week was a red week, but still overall a very strong price chart. Look at all these supports here and finding its way consistently up to this level. So we'll see what happens, but I mean, against the BTC, that is quite a monster price chart right here. This you know, this could be very, who knows what this is. I get the sense we're something like that, and who knows where it goes next, you know. But that, like, these kinds of ideas are possible, I guess. We'll see. This again out to 2026, 27, maybe 28, 2030, whatever it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be, but that's your BNB price chart. Freaking solid. But at the same time, still making lower lows than this. So at any point it could dump down, but this just looks like we're just making the wave 4 of 5 for now. And this is a weekly price chart, so we'll see. Keep an eye on that. As you see here, these things can expand for a while before finding a long-term correction here, which lasted, you know, May to December of 20. So it's like a year and a half, you know. Anyway, okay, so that's BNB. I think the other ones that I wanted to look at, XYO we had looked at, and XYO has just found a lot of strength. It's just not so sure which way it wants to go right now. It looks like there's room for more upside, but then this is the weekly. The problem on the weekly is starting to look like it's been a lot of green and not so much red. So that's my only concern on that level. And, you know, it's been overbought a lot, hasn't been oversold since the beginning of 2021. So I don't know what to say about this, but I get the sense it's not going to last much longer. It still could pop higher for sure. That's what these things do, but I don't think it's going to last that much longer. This is a weekly price chart. So on the daily too, you know, like it's closing higher than these closes. So it's closing higher, but it's lower than the wicks, and this whole thing looks corrective, right? Like, look at this big move down. So either this is part of the next move up, or it's part of a bigger correction, and this is against BTC. So maybe it needs some time to correct back down towards this this maybe 600 level or wherever it needs to go. 500 level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 50, 60 and 50, not 600 and 500. Oh, wow. Okay. Satoshis with leading zeros. Anyway, so that's where we are, XYO. Hope that made sense. If you have any requests, let me know. Put them in the comments. Otherwise, any other comments are appreciated. Any feedback and all that. I think that's it. I'm done for now. If you want to just take a look at ADA on the way out. It is on a daily. Yeah, I get the sense we could turn around soon. It's starting to flatten out, and why not? Why not? I get the sense we could bump up and continue this overall correction, but this could be the lows. That could be the lows for sure. On the weekly though, this is ADA BTC. And on the weekly, I get the sense we're closing lower than we were before. On the weekly, it's hard to say. It's really about holding above this level. If it doesn't hold above this level, then I'm pretty sure we're going to that 2,000 Satoshis level. All right. And yeah, that's that idea. So that's for ADA. Okay, does that make sense? But because it's been going so hard, so down, so fast, so much, I get the sense it can bounce up first before continuing down. And maybe then it'll find this level as the support overall. So we'll see. We'll see what this correction looks like. But I think that's the case for ADA. That's none of this financial advice, blah, 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 but that's the higher probability in my estimation. And I'm an amateur at best, but that's true. I do love looking at these price charts with you. So until next time, I hope you have a good one. Wishing you love, peace, and happiness. And goodbye.